Tuesday or Wednesday last week. No, it
Mhm.
definitely came after. So it was either Wednesday or Thursday last week.
I think it was Thursday. I think it was
Okay.
enough time in between because if we record Tuesday, we dropped on Wednesday. I don't because I think on Wednesday I would have been like, oh shoot, we were
Yeah.
so close. So that's why I think it was Thursday because it's like okay, it was out of our ballpark. Like we wouldn't have caught it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Deadline broke the story that She-Hulk has
Mhm.
found their Jennifer Walters, and that would be Tatiana Maslany has landed the title role of the new Marvel series. It was, we had heard rumors that they were looking for an Allison Brie type, even though Allison Brie is completely unavailable. At that point, that's who they were looking for.
Mhm.
And so that casts a wide net at that point. But
That does because I don't put Tatiana in that category in my opinion.
no,
Yeah.
it's definitely not. But I'm a
Mhm.
huge fan of her. The show I know her most from, and a lot of people know her most from, is the BBC show Orphan Black, where she, spoiler alert, you find this out within the first episode, but it is a show about clones, and she plays all the different versions of herself legitimately, like convincingly throughout all the seasons. She takes on so many different parts, so many different roles. How she only won one Emmy award. It's 5 seasons from
Three-time
2013.
nominee, three-time nominee too. So you
Three-time
know,
nominee, one-time winner, nominated for Golden Globes. And but yeah, it's 5 seasons, 2013, 2017. If you've never seen it, they're on Amazon Prime. It's part of your
oh,
membership at that point. Um, the,
cheap plug for the show. It's on your membership.
the,
You're really talking them into watching this.
you're already paying for Amazon Prime for the
Yeah.
shipping at that point, but um, it's a really great sci-fi show. She is outstanding. She was just in the Perry Mason show.
Mhm.
I have not given that show a watch, but just the range just for that Orphan Black alone, she will surprise a lot of people if this is the first time seeing her.
Yeah, it's just I want to say perfect casting in the sense of I know Jennifer Walters. I've read her in things, but I couldn't tell you, give me 1,000 word essay about her. That she's not my character in that way. But in the sense of I mean perfect casting of Tatiana having that range, that's why it's perfect casting. You look at somebody and go, I trust them fully. I've not seen all of Orphan Black. I've only seen episodes here and there, not in the sense of I didn't want it or like it. I just saw them out of order and they're on TV, but I'd always heard great things about her. So I always put on my bucket of like, oh, I'm going to watch it one day. I watched Perry Mason. I really like Perry Mason. Matthew Rise is a man that I think is one of the
Mm-hmm.
most underrated actors in the world. And I really hope he finds his way into one of these MCU or DC or whatever, because that guy, if anyone watched The Americans, that guy's a
Oh
powerhouse.
yes,
Yeah, he's a
so good.
powerhouse actor, and it's just like the fact that he's not even bigger and more stuff is just a shame. So with her, I just went, you know what? That's perfect because I trust her. Whatever the script needs her to do, whatever she has to do, whatever she has to say, I trust her to knock it out of the park tenfold. Fanboy Chris said, Chris, you kind of called it, which was true because when we talked about Spider Woman, you had her
I
on there.
did. I did. I called. I wanted Tatiana for Spider Woman just because
Yeah.
of her range.
Yeah, and but that's exactly it. Her
Yeah.
range, and I just think it just gives me lots of faith as far as this series going. And we talked about this last week with Brent too, that we said Miss Marvel's probably going to be a bit, which we haven't got that casting surprisingly, but we
Yeah,
still feel it's going to.
you and I were hoping for it this week.
Oh
We
yeah,
said,
there's still a chance. There's still a
mhm.
chance, but there's a bigger chance with that one. We'll probably get. I think Brent made a great point. The younger characters seem to get more the up and comer, lesser known actors. But we were talking about last week that we feel this will be a name. No one big as like, oh, it's Jennifer Aniston playing She-Hulk, but someone you've seen in things people know, and that's exactly what this is. And I think she's great, and I'm excited to see her in future movies as well. And I'm just happy that we got our directors last week, we
Mhm.
got our main actress now. We're going to start cooking on the series. And even Mark Ruffalo tweeted, welcome to the family, because he's pretty much another worst kept secret, pretty much confirmed he's going to be in the show. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anything otherwise. So just a great get. Great
Yeah, and
get.
even Jessica Gao, who's the showrunner for it, basically confirmed the story with just a tweet of a green heart retweeting the Deadline story.
That's the new confirmation. What is Olivia Wilde did that? Remember, just a spider web, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All in the game, which he points this out. Maybe he's racist. Matthew Rise is pronounced Reese, so maybe I didn't know that. And that's some different
I forgot
spelling.
to correct you. Yep.
Yeah, that's okay. You know, you don't want to brick, but no,
get threats.
But yeah, it's just nothing but good news. Last week and the week between Kang, the directors, this WandaVision, it's been great to just get some great like Marvel content again and just news again. It's especially even seeing WandaVision, the trailer. It's like, this isn't a fake thing. Like, these shows are coming. We've heard about them for so long. It's like, it's getting palpable. So Travis Hines asked, do you think they'll make changes to She-Hulk's origins? We talked about this last week.
I think so.
Just because I just feel like that origin of she gets shot, needs a blood transfusion. I get what Brent says, where he says it's a case where do or die, you have to do it. I understand. So you can pitch it that way. That's fine. I just think it's just kind of in general, still a little cheesy. It just feels like one of those origins where like we could puff this up a little bit, but if they go that route, they make it right. It works.
And interestingly enough, I saw some not necessarily pushback is saying, oh, they cast the wrong person, but
fuck. When you're done, I got something to say about that.
All I heard a little bit is it's like her build.
Oh my god!
But because a lot of people say, well, even Jennifer Walters was a little muscular at that point, and okay, I know the images we see of Tatiana is not but even Jennifer Walters wasn't bulked out. We're not doing, as Brent and I talked about, we're not talking the savage She-Hulk that is in the comics right now. But, again, we cast, and I think it was either you or Travis Hines or someone I read had said, like, you cast the person, you cast the actor, and then the part builds around it. You can't just get the look. You've got to cast the right person. And again, the person will sell this. You don't have to do it a exact translation, but if she has the range, she has the aura about her that she owns. Like, again, Jennifer Walters, when she turns into She-Hulk, that's, She-Hulk gives her the confidence to be the better lawyer. That's why you see a lot of times in the comics, she stays in the She-Hulk form because it gives her that confidence. So we need a person to believe that she's one person as Jennifer Walters, as the lawyer Jennifer Walters, but when she becomes She-Hulk, she becomes even a better version of herself. She is able to maintain her personality, her intelligence, and her emotional control.
Yeah, it's just something that I'm still just fed up about. We talked about that weeks ago as far as the New Mutants. One of the co-creators is like, he had some good points, but there were some things where I just go like, are we still in the 90s? Are we still complaining? And of course, I've done that before, but when I did that, I feel like it was before I had graduated high school. And I know many people tweeting these things out are not in high school. If they're kids tweeting, I go, okay, whatever, I get it. But it's just like,
Hansel.
Sure, Jennifer Walters maybe could be a little bit bulkier, but at the end of the day, she doesn't need to be. She's going to be playing the lawyer part, the Jennifer part. She is going to be CGI'd. She is.
You think we're going to get a Lou Ferrigno?
No, she's going to be. We're not going to get Gina Carano in there with her bad takes. We're not going to get her in there painted green. Like, I just cannot believe that there's been so much. She's not big enough. She doesn't look like this. They're going to put her in a fucking ball suit that has all the gray thing, and then she's gonna look great. Like, it doesn't even matter. And it's just like same thing like you just talked about. It's all the role. The same reason why I don't care if they cast an 8-foot person to play Wolverine next. If they go, this guy's the next thespian, cool. If he gets Wolverine, perfect. It's just this thing of look doesn't really matter anymore. I understand to a point sometimes, especially of course there was that debate with Pattinson, but obviously that ended up him being trolling. That I get. If if he was full and just like, I'm not working out, okay, I get it. But even then, when people were like, he has to be a massive Batman, there's been tons of runs of Batman. Look at Neil Adams' Batman. He's like a slender Batman. Like, it's just I don't know. It's just a weird mindset for people still have nowadays about being so be concerned about when they do the CGI Hulk and she looks great as the Hulk. That's the fanboy stuff. When you go, if they we're going to make her orange. That's when I'd be like, why are we making her orange? Like, she doesn't have to be green, but it's like, that's a weird choice. Getting, this girl's not big enough. Go away. I wanted to throw to get us off. That was all in the game ass. I think we've touched upon this before, but do we want her to be introduced to Spidey's lore in Spider-Man 3? I guess I just counter, is Spider-Man for sure gonna have a lawyer? I would like that.
Spider-Man, you mean Spider-Man can't go home?
whatever it is, homes. I hate the stupid home titles. Homecoming was great, but I don't like this running gag. And if we get a fourth one, it's gonna be home something.
Home
Uh,
slash.
I'm homesick of it, is what I am. But may if he has a lawyer, but we don't got confirmation, but there's been rumblings that it's maybe a like him on the run movie. So if that's the case, I don't think he needs a lawyer, maybe a little bit, but maybe at the end it ends that way. Of course, my bias is always going to say I want them to be Matt Murdock. And speaking of Matthew Rise, we did that on Geek First. That was my fan cast of who had won the MCU for him to play Daredevil is Matthew Rise. I think he'd be fantastic as Matt Murdock and Daredevil. But I think I'm down for it, but I just don't know if the lawyer thing's going to happen. But sure, I'm not opposed.
Yeah, I mean, She-Hulk in the comics, Jennifer Walters becomes kind of the lawyer of the superheroes at that point. She kind of specializes in that law, and so
it's gonna be a fun show.
It is, and you can look at the after effects of Endgame, what happens with the Sokovia Accords, and how does she necessarily find this? Again, we know of a small group of heroes, but our Multiverse of Madness can introduce us to more heroes and more superpowers and supervillains. So
all in the game. I'm so sorry I call him Rise again. Reese. I've been calling him that since I watched him. I don't know, Chris, did you ever watch a show called Brothers and Sisters that had Calissa Flockhart on it? A bunch of people like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Desperate Housewife sort of thing, but he was the best part.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, Brothers.
No, but it was like a family drama, and there'd be like divorces and cheating on one another. But I'm pretty sure he was funny enough, he was a lawyer in that, I'm pretty sure. But he was the most compelling part of that show.
And cast that man. He's played a lawyer.
Yeah. And that's where I saw him. And I was like, he's really good. And he was the only reason I watched The Americans. Obviously, it ended up being a great show, but I was like, oh, this guy's great. So yeah, Matthew Reese should be. He's too old for Matt Murdock. That doesn't matter. Matt Murdock could be older. Look, people. That's the same thing. People say that about Mahershala Ali. Doesn't matter to me. He might be nearing 50. He's gonna be a great Blade. Get a stunt double in there, like Jack Sparrow. Look, call me when you need the face shot, as John Depp used to say. Do the same thing through Matthew Reeves. Like I get it with Matt Murdock, but I feel like you're gonna have a lot of young characters with the X-Men coming in, so I could see them doing some older characters. So who would you want? If the She-Hulk, I don't know if they'll do in season 1, but season 2, if she is the superhero lawyer, who do you want? Who's like your dream? She has to work on a case, and nothing even serious, just like something even that's funny. Like, I envision like Incredibles when Mr. Incredible saves that guy from killing himself, and he's like, "I saved your life," and he's just like, "Yeah, well, you broke my neck too." Like whatever that back and forth. Like, who's the person you want as her like one of her clients in the show?
Because I just want to see the playoff of insanity. I want to see her defend Moon Knight.
Oh my God, that would Mark Spector up there switching to Jake Lockley, switching to Stephen Grant. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, you hit my funny bone with that one because I love Moon Knight. Oh yeah, that's a good one. I personally think it might be a bit more dour, but I think another person we could see is Clint Barton, because people might be like, "Hey, what were you doing as Ronan?" And he might go like, "Oh, well, it was a dark time, like my family's back. It's great." But it's like, you still did a lot of.
You did some serious stuff. And we only saw a preview of it in Endgame, man. I want to see that. I can't wait for that part of the Hawkeye series to. Yes. They have said that we're going to delve into what went on with him as Ronan a little bit more.